The Episcopal Church recently celebrated a feast day for T.S. Eliot, which as a musician I appreciated because music to Eliot was not so much sounds as it was a way of understanding life, which he explored in a series of meditations that he called Four Quartets, the final one of which is a sort of sermon that he named after a place he loved where there was a little chapel in a tiny village in the English countryside called Little Gidding, which for centuries nurtured a community of people who were religious without being rigid or doctrinaire. And when Eliot became an Anglican, I think in his heart he was joining that community of people who are reverent and who are spiritual explorers. So I imagine Eliot delivering this sermon to us as he sits all alone in that beautiful little chapel. It's a winter afternoon, he says. Apparently there's been a January thaw because the earth is exposed, but there's still a bit of snow on top of the hedge sparkling in the sunshine. And hoping that we would hear his words long after he was gone, he says, if you came this way, taking the route you would be likely to take from the place you would be likely to come from, if you came this way in Maytime, you would find the hedge white again in May with blossoms. It would be the same at the end of the journey. If you came at night like a broken king, if you came by day not knowing what you came for, it would be the same when you leave the rough road and turn behind the pigsty to the dull facade and the tombstone. And what you thought you came for is only a shell, a husk of meaning from which the purpose breaks only when it's fulfilled. Either you had no purpose, or the purpose is beyond the end that you pictured. And in being fulfilled, your purpose changes. But what we call the end is often the beginning, because to make an end is to make the beginning of something else. And every gesture that is true, every note that's in its place, every utterance that is right where the community of words is at home, each supporting the others, every phrase is an end and a beginning. Every poem an epitaph, and every act is a step to the block, to the fire, or down the sea's throat, or to an illegible stone. So while the light fails on a winter's afternoon in a secluded chapel, history, Eliot says, is the now, with the drawing of this love and the voice of this calling. And then he prays, saying, let us not cease from exploration, and may the end of all our exploring be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown, remembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover is our starting point. At the source of the longest river, the voice of the hidden waterfall, and the children in the apple tree, not seen because not looked for, but heard, half heard, in the silence between two waves of the sea. And then, to send us out into the world, Eliot takes another tone. Quick now, he says, here, now, always here. Just a condition of complete simplicity. Costing what? Everything? Yes, costing everything. And yet, or because of that, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well, when the tongues of flame are enfolded into the crowned knot of fire, and the fire and the rose are one.